Hello delegates attending World Pride Human Rights Conference in Copenhagen. My name is Alan Snedden, Director of Communications at the European LGBT Police Association, or EGPA for short. It is the intention of this presentation to provide you with some background information about EGPA and its works. EGPA was founded in 2004 as the European Gay Police Association. The association is made up of a general board and an elected executive committee. EGPA acts as an umbrella organisation with representatives from the 17 European countries and territories whose domestic LGBT police association is also a member of EGPA. The main function of EGPA is to provide a platform for sharing knowledge and best practices in order to improve the lived experience of LGBT police officers and policing of the LGBT community. Here is a list of the member countries and names of the LGBT police association in those countries. As you will see, Sweden and Norway currently don't have an LGBT police association. However, they are represented on our general board by an LGBT police officer from that country's police force. EGPA also supports national police forces and government establishments in Europe in the development of operational policing knowledge and enhancing police service to the LGBT community. Also, to help enable those police forces and establishments become more representative and inclusive of LGBT people. EGPA also has a number of ambassadors, including for women, as can be seen from our photograph here, and trans. Indeed, whilst EGPA has contributed towards significant advances for LGBT police officers, as have our member organisations, we are only at the beginning of that journey for our trans colleagues and trans communities. We also need to provide safe and supportive working environments and mechanisms for those transitioning and greater awareness amongst non-trans police officers. EGPA and our member organisations are also very active in delivering training seminars in our police training centres for new recruits and training staff about LGBT issues delivered by LGBT police officers. By explaining our own experience both as LGBT police officers and members of the LGBT community, we can help improve the overall culture within policing from a human perspective, one that people can easily identify with. We also work with the Council of Europe to deliver training for trainers and helped develop a training package entitled Policing Hate Crime Against LGBTI Persons, Training for a Professional Police Response, which has now been translated into 16 languages, and copies are available on the Council of Europe's Sexual Orientation and Gender Identity Unit's website. EGPA also actively engages with various European authorities and organisations such as Europol, Euromil, Eurocop, NATO, Frontex, EU institutions, non-government organisations and national governments themselves. When it comes to protecting LGBT citizens, we know that there are different laws, penal codes, policing organisations and cultures to deal with. There is no one-size-fits-all way. However, whilst each pathway may be different, the message that we wish to deliver is that of fundamental human rights and the role that each country and police force has in defending and protecting those rights for everyone, especially given that rights and protections for European LGBT citizens still varies significantly. Since our founding in 2004, we have held biennial conferences in a number of European cities, including Amsterdam, London, Stockholm, Barcelona, Vienna, Dublin, Berlin, and Paris, and we plan to host our next conference, delayed as a result of COVID, next year in Athens. Many of these conferences have also coincided with Europride, and many of our delegates from all over Europe have taken part. In addition, we support and send delegates to the World LGBT Conference for Criminal Justice Professionals, an event that was started by one of our members, Maria Loost, formerly of the Dutch National Police. There have been 2 such conferences to date, the first in Amsterdam and the second in Toronto, Canada. The next conference is due to take place in Melbourne, Australia, in 2023. Being LGBT in the police and the challenges that can bring varies, as does being LGBT in other occupations, and it's therefore important that we provide support to LGBT colleagues who might need it, or signpost them to individuals or organisations who can provide help. Officers can feel isolated if they don't know of any other LGBT colleagues, and we can help to put them in touch with people in their own local association or encourage them to attend one of our conferences where they will feel welcomed and meet many other LGBT police officers. We feel that it is important that our LGBT communities across Europe and beyond know that we exist and recognise that there are many thousands of LGBT police officers who come from the very same communities as they do. Also, we know that our visibility has encouraged LGBT people to join our ranks within the police and given confidence to victims of hate crime to come forward and file a report with the police. Our work and our visibility is making a difference. We are creating a more inclusive and diverse workforce. We are repairing the damage and mistrust that has existed between the police and the LGBT community. By working together, we can tackle LGBT hate crimes and make our streets safer for LGBT citizens. We will continue to work both internally and externally, raising our profile and forcing change. That is what we are doing in the European LGBT Police Association. Have you been a witness or victim of LGBT phobia during your career? What have you done or been able to do about it? Do you have a workplace LGBT support organisation? At least within the police sector, EGPA can provide answers to such questions. Our journey began back in 2004 with just a few countries and members. Our journey and expansion continues. Our work is by no means complete. The best way to change an organisation is from within. That is what those of us who proudly serve as police officers, are proud to be LGBT and proud to be part of EGPA will strive to do.